Compassion is an emotion that defines us as women, and there's no better way of showing others you care than wearing one of these. But girls, you don't need to race out to try to find the closest charity accessory store, because with a little patience and a spare 10 minutes, you can feel even prouder of your empathy by making your own AIDS ribbon. Simply measure a length of red ribbon out to a length of about 12 centimetres, then fold this over in half and cut an angle. About 45 degrees should do it, but if it isn't precise, it doesn't matter. Those imperfections let others know you made it yourself. Take the ribbon and bend it into the shape of a bow. Thread a clean needle with a length of thread, and then use a simple running stitch until it feels secure. And there you have it. You could buy in bulk and sew an individual ribbon to every outfit that you own, but with fashion being as fickle as it is, you don't know what next season's colour and cause will be. But for now, you can enjoy showing that you care for a fraction of the price. It's always awful to wake up with a hangover. I never should have mixed my Chardonnays. Only one thing makes it worse. And ladies, this is why it pays to network. Air traffic control, please. Hello, Brian. It's Sigourney. Oh, not much. Just lying around in bed. What? Oh, a little bit of satin, a little bit of lace. Oh, I'd love to too. How about tonight? Oh, what am I thinking? I can't possibly do tonight. I'm exhausted. And there's no chance of me getting any sleep with these darn planes going over my house. What? You'd redirect them over to the western suburbs for me? Oh, you're a doll. You can pick me up at 8. What? Oh, you are naughty. I'll iron it especially for you. Bye. There you go. I've sorted out plans for my evening and my morning with one quick phone call. Which is why you should never discard a phone number, even if you've discarded the man. There's nothing more frustrating than dressing up to the nines and hitting the local power player watering hole, only to realise that the menfolk are intimidated by your headstrong, unapproachably beautiful appearance. You end up getting ignored all night, and there's no one to make breakfast for in the morning. But I've found a way to look fabulous, feel feminine, and most importantly, non-threatening. Don't let looks be deceiving. Now, all the men in the room will know that a conversation with you won't be a challenge. And remember, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So, dressed like this, you won't have to use any, leaving him to enjoy the sounds of submissive silence.
Hi, my name's Miles. Can I buy you a drink? So, what's a girl like you to a place like this?
We all know how some fabulous fabric and simple sewing can cover up those everyday nasties and make our lives at home so much nicer. Well, here's a smart idea for the modern woman. Let's liberate our lady of the cistern by using this fun and easy technique to hide all those ugly essentials our menfolk, bless them, just have to have around the house. It's effective, it's feminine, and a real buzz to know that your taste is adding to the aesthetics of wherever you go. Since the Paralympics, most of us have at least one friend who's disabled. But this can be a bit of a problem when you introduce your new friend to others. To avoid embarrassing everyone, simply conceal attention-grabbing disabilities to prevent those awkward moments. Being disabled never looked so fashionable. Children can be so cruel to one another, especially when someone's a little different. Well, you've guessed it. With some careful measurements and a weekend sewing, you can create an enviable playground play cover that Siamese twins can timeshare for an almost normal life. Just make sure they get equal time to avoid any sibling rivalry. It really is very satisfying to know that your Elna classes can make a difference to a child's life. And it's fun. I'll be back later in the show with more ideas, so stay with us. We all look better by candlelight. Did you know that lighting is the 7th most important factor in looking beautiful? Right behind breeding, cosmetics, fashion, grooming, corrective surgery, and regular use of moisturiser. Which is why it's always a worry when you're going to a dinner date at his house and you have no idea what the lighting will be like. This is serious stuff. I mean, it could be neon. But there's no need to panic. There is something you can do to take control of the situation. This is the electricity substation that sends the power to Bryan Street. What are you going to do to the substation today, Penny?
I'm going to start a fire, an electrical fire, so it looks like shoddy maintenance was the cause. That way, some comfortable government employer gets the blame, not me.
Thanks, Penny.
Wow. Sigourney, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Look, there's been a bit of a blackout. Would you mind just waiting while I dash to grab some more candles?
Oh, no need. I brought my own.
Wow.
For today's modern woman, there's nothing like spending some quality time in an isolation tank. The silence, the stillness, and the consoling maternal caresses of the undulating water. But if you're anything like me, after about 5 minutes, you've pretty much found your spiritual centre and start to get bored. So I've got some effective techniques to make your floating rituals so much more enjoyable. A Walkman is a must for the serious isolationist. Music really helps you pass the time. Personally, I recommend someone like Madonna, a good songwriter, so you can concentrate on the lyrics. Unwinding inside the womb-like domain can be a thirsty business. And I find Capriosca the perfect cocktail to ease those mental biorhythms. And if there's room, why not invite a friend to come along so you've got someone to talk to? It's so much more enjoyable to experience the beauty of isolation together. You didn't? Really? Oh, I so wish I was. We've done some wonderful things today. We've improved people's lives, proving what I always say, that handicrafts can be more than just relaxation. And the most important thing when covering up those unpleasant realities is that you're only limited by your imagination.
Okay, Sigourney, I'm ready when you are.
Thanks, Todd. Isn't it wonderful to think that with a little thought and some fabulous fabric, we can brighten up our own lives while giving something back to the community?
Oh, it sure is, Sigourney.
See, we can make a difference, can't we, girls? It's always worth going to a lot of trouble for your dinner guests. Remember that a table setting can say so much about just what kind of woman you are. One of my favourite films of all time is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and it's a very fitting movie to mention because of what I have planned today. A few weeks ago, I went to a dinner party and met an amazing gentleman who was part of the Stolen Generation. He had a lot to say about a lot of things, but what we discussed most was the need for more recognition of Aboriginal culture, especially their artwork. And as an artist myself, I couldn't agree more. We've all seen the fabulous works of Clifford Possum, Emily Ngwari and Ngata Nungarai, but how many times have you said to yourself, I can do that? Well, today I'm going to teach you how. As any artist will tell you, your surroundings are very important, so find somewhere nice to work. I prefer to work with a mounted canvas for that authentic fine art look, but if you can't get your hands on any, tree bark should do. As usual, I'm working with acrylic paints and I'm going to be using 4 colours: Mission Brown, Colonial Red, Sunshine Yellow, and of course, Brilliant White. Then, all you need for tools is a basic chopstick. Of course, I'm using Japanese, but you can use anything you might have. Then, after you've painted your canvas with a base colour, you can add the dots. There you have it. Personally, I can't tell the difference. Can you? And now for the final touches, your signature. In the tradition of Aboriginal artists, I found out my Aboriginal name. And you can too. Just log on to www.indigenousisme.org.au and type in your name. It's as simple as that. Of course, if you're looking for a painting to complement your current decor, I finished these earlier today. See? It works every time. Don't you hate it when it's Sunday morning and all you want to do is relax with a cup of coffee and a copy of the social papers, only to discover this? And if you're like me, you wouldn't be seen dead leaving the house until you've done your hair and put your face on. But don't worry, there is a way for you to visit the corner store without doing that morning beauty ritual. Just throw a veil over your Sunday worst and you can shop without feeling like you're being scrutinised. Ladies, do you suffer from obsessive-compulsive disorder? Does it take you forever to do even the simplest task, feeling that if you don't get it exactly right, your family will die? Well, that needn't be as good as it gets, because tonight I've got a wonderful hint that the modern obsessive-compulsive woman will want to try time and time again. Now, for the modern woman, setting the dinner table can be an enjoyable act of self-expression. But for the OCD set, it can be time-consuming and frustrating. Constantly realigning the crockery with the cutlery and the glassware, it's enough to drive you insane. But you can take the guesswork out of angles, equidistance and relative space. All you need is a plain tablecloth, a dinner setting, a pencil and some black fabric paint. To start, simply set the table. Now, because this is how it will always look, you want to take the time to get it just right. Then trace around each item with a 4B pencil. Now, take your fabric paint and fill in the silhouettes, being careful to stay inside the lines. Some might say go fashion, never function. But I think you'd agree that this stunning tablecloth puts that old adage to rest. Now, this only took me 4 hours and 22 minutes, but of course I'm not obsessive compulsive. So if you're making this at home, you may want to give yourself a week. From dinner for two to Christmas Day lunch, you can create a whole linen cupboard of time-saving possibilities. There are strict religions, there are crackpot religions, and there are religions that are simply an ideal lifestyle choice. And one of the very best is Buddhism. I first became enchanted with Buddhism when I saw one of these ancient scrolls at the museum. Loosely translated, it says that we cannot be at one with the universe until we let go of our desires and give up our possessions. And I thought, I've just got to have one of those for the living room. But you know, decoration is not the only thing that Buddhism has to offer. It's also a very aromatic religion. Smell that enlightenment. Sandalwood, great for the toilet. The dining room is the perfect place for you to show off your fine mahogany Buddha statue for a couple of reasons. Firstly, with such a fat little fella looking down at you, you'll feel so much less guilty about asking for that extra helping of flan. But most of all, he'll be a talking point, which means you can casually drop the news that you're now a Buddhist. Imagine how envious your friends will be that you've joined Uma Thurman and Richard Gere's little club. And yet you can still be friends, because Buddhism is a religion that never offends anybody. And when you get a little squiffy at dinner and say something stupid, you've got an instant riposte. Don't you think the melon flavours override the passion fruit? Oh, That's just a bit of zen. And best of all, there are no compulsory attendances or prayer times or dress codes. You just say you're a Buddhist and you are one. And all you need to do is find time for some quiet contemplation. Right, enough of that. Time to load the washer. It's great to have a man around the house, but they do come with some rather unfortunate habits. Once upon a time, back when men were hunters, they could hit a water buffalo with a spear from 50 feet. Nowadays, when men are bankers, you'd be hard-pushed to find one who can hit the bowl from straight above it. Well, stop putting those papers down for him. There is a simpler way. Seeing as men enjoy games of skill, try painting a small target on the back of the toilet bowl to make toilet time more fun. It'll give him something to hit other than your hand-knotted Haitian toilet rug. Keeping in mind that most little accidents happen at night, you'll need to choose a good waterproof phosphorescent paint. Or, for that antique designer effect with an indefinite glow, you'll want something which contains radium salts, which they used to use on the hands and numbers of watch faces. Now you can have a dry room with lovely loo lighting your friends will adore.
Good advice, Sigourney. I think all of us men would appreciate the thought and enjoy that bullseye challenge. But a word of caution. Radium is radioactive and it does react with both air and water. So you may experience headaches, rectal itching or blood in the urine from your antique effect.
But most women I know would say that that's a small price to pay for a clean bathroom and a happy man. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Weren't the Olympics fabulous? Australia attracted visitors from all over the world, and who didn't dream of billeting the Italian men's diving team? The problem is that some of our visitors were never invited in the first place, and once here, they just won't go home. We call these people refugees. Let's face it, refugees aren't going to go away. But you can help by opening your heart and arms and being the first in your crescent to billet your very own family of refugees. Now, as sympathetic as we are to the plight of these people, we don't want them traipsing through the house. So Todd is going to show us how to build refugee accommodation in our very own backyard. Don't you hate it when you get one of these? Apart from the physical pain and the blurred vision, black eyes are just so embarrassing. All those prying questions and assumptions. And pity is not an emotion that defines the modern woman. So tonight, I'm going to show you how to beat the busybodies with some wonderful cover-up techniques that you'll love using time and time again. First of all, you'll need to anaesthetise the area so that you don't pass out from pain once you start touching it. So, if there's any alcohol left in the house, fix yourself a drink. Now you need to apply some concealer. Concealer is a wonderful product that's also good for disguising blemishes, or so I've been told. Now to apply this, you're going to need a wooden spoon. It'll stop you from screaming out if your anaesthetic isn't strong enough. Next, you need to add a nice thick layer of foundation. Then apply your normal eye makeup. Voila! You may look like the victim of a makeover gone wrong, but at least you don't look like the victim of domestic bliss gone wrong. Of course, makeup only works if it's a simple bruise. If your eye makes contact with something going at an angrier speed, you're going to get swelling. And once your eye swells up like a baboon's bottom, not even the scientists at the Pons Institute are going to be able to help you. That's when you need to accessorise with an eye patch. And the best thing about wearing an eye patch is you can have lots of fun inventing new excuses for why you're wearing one. Hi! Mwah, mwah.
Oh my, what happened?
Oh, this? So embarrassing. I watched a solar eclipse without looking through a hole in a tiny piece of paper.